Well, we're living through extraordinary times, extraordinarily difficult, and a bunch of rules, regulations, laws and policies are making matters worse for business. But this is not the time for finger pointing, it's the time for constructive conversation. And so the firm presents a new segment where some of our regular contributors will talk about those rules and regulations that need a rethink in the current environment. The firm presents The New Deal. I'm going to debut this segment by looking for answers to a very crucial question. It arises from the recent failure of the Hindalco and Tata Motors rights issues. Why can't the rights issue process be made more price efficient? Joining me with some answers is Gautam Gupte, Director of Ambit Corporate Finance. Gautam, thanks very much for joining us. Gautam, part of the reason why the Hindalco and Tata Motors rights issue failed was because the time taken between pricing the issue and the issue opening is so long that the pricing becomes irrelevant in a declining market like this. Now, I know that SEBI recently halved the time taken. Earlier, this risk period was about 2 months. Now it's down to about a month. But the question I want to ask you is, why can't we crunch this to less than a month? And why can't the rights issue be priced at the closing price of the day before the issue more opens, making the price, therefore, more relevant?
We need to look at the peculiar aspect of rights issue which differentiates it from, say, a follow-on offering. In case of rights issues, there is a concept of a record date and there is a concept of a rights entitlement which can be renounced by the shareholder. And these are inherent rights available to the shareholder which are enshrined in the Companies Act as well as in the Articles of Association of all listed companies. Once SEBI approval is received for the rights issue, the company is required to fix a record date. And to fix the record date, the company needs to give a 7 days notice to the stock exchange. Prior to fixation of the record date, the company also needs to decide the rights issue price to subscribe. This entitlement can either be renounced in full or in part by the shareholder. All this process requires time, and the way we are presently structured in terms of our entitlement and renunciation process, there is a lot of movement of physical paper. What the shareholder receives is a physical application form which is called the composite application form. The form of renunciation is also built into that composite application form. The renunciations are traded on the stock exchange just like the scrip of the company, and the trading takes place in physical form. All this takes time, and should a shareholder wants to renounce part of his entitlement in the rights issue, then he needs to send the form of acceptance back to the registrar, who will split it into the ratio the shareholder wants, send it back to the shareholder, and then the shareholder will go to his broker and sell the renunciation. You have very correctly said that SEBI has compressed the time frame, and there has been a dramatic compression of this risk period, that is starting from the date of fixation of the price to the issue closure. It has come down by more than 50%. And in my view, this can be compressed only marginally further without really tackling this entire process of renunciation of the entitlements being available in physical form.
All right, so Gautam, that brings me to my second question, which is, since you've outlined or pointed out that the devil in this whole process, or the stumbling block or the delay causing factor, is the renunciation process, is there any way to make this renunciation process a faster one, and can this be done in the short term? And I'm not talking about legislative changes to the Companies Act where some of these renunciation processes are embedded, but is there any solution in the short term that we can put in place so that when companies go to the market with rights issues, their prices don't become irrelevant?
One of the thoughts which is out there and which has been debated at various fora is the entitlement which a shareholder receives, the entitlement to subscribe to the rights, that can be sent to him in an electronic form, that is in the form of a credit to his depository account. Once the credit of entitlement comes in an electronic form, the shareholder can either, then there is no need to split. Or if he wants to sell the entitlements in the form of renunciation, they can just be sold in the market in a demat form. If he wants to sell part of that, then also it's possible. There is no need to send the form back to the registrar for splitting, etc., etc. Now, all this will require significant changes to the way the way we are structured today in terms of systems at depositories and systems at the registrars.
When you say, sorry, Gautam, to interrupt you, but when you say significant changes, how long will these changes take? Is it possible to do in the short term?
Very difficult to take a call on the exact time frame because the way this process will work is something will need to be proposed, discussed with the market regulator. The regulator needs to be assured that this is workable. That assurance needs to come from participants like the registrar, the depositories, the exchanges, and then just like ASBA has been introduced on a test case basis, perhaps they may consider introducing this, but I'm not sure on the time frame as to when can this happen. And this is just one of the suggestions.
Gautam Gupte, thank you very much for your time.